Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First of all, thanks for this opportunity. Most of our work in innovation looks at long-term perspective. Jamshed talked about more in terms of short-term, how industry looks at it. So we realized that for us to continue 8 to 10% growth for the next 20 years to come, we need to really build skill sets, focus on innovation, build infrastructure. And a lot of these things will take probably 5-10 years to implement. We do realize that we have 550 million young below age of 25, and we need to create 10 to 12 million new jobs every year, year after year, and this is not going to come from following our traditions. So we got to think differently. So first, Prime Minister announced National Knowledge Commission to look at knowledge institutions and infrastructures that we need to put in line. Everywhere you look around in education, we need expansion, excellence, and equity. We need more colleges, more universities, more teachers. Leaving aside top 5-10%, quality of education is pretty bad, and I say loudly. And then you have to make sure that the poorest of the poor will indeed get the best education possible. So we put together a plan. A lot of this is already in implementation. Some of it is going slow because it has been delayed in the parliament. Having spent some time on education and knowledge, we decided to launch a decade of innovation program. So 2010-2020 has been declared as the decade of innovation. Realizing that innovation is not about science and technology or about software and high tech and biotech. It is about a platform. We need innovations in education, health, government, processes. Everywhere you look around, we find that there is a major need for reforms. We need administrative reforms, we need judiciary reforms, we need labor reforms. And a lot of our processes were left behind by British Raj. Our bureaucracy has complicated it, perfected it, and now we are computerizing it. So innovation really is being designed to change the mindset, sensitize everybody, and really set up infrastructures to find new solutions. Our hope is really web, internet, and IT. So we are spending about $20 billion of government money to create public information infrastructure, to really begin to deliver public services differently. So we have two networks, one called Knowledge Network, which connects 1,500 nodes with 40 gigabit bandwidth to connect all our universities, R&D labs. This network is already built, working. We are directly connected to Europe, now to US through Amsterdam, to New York, and to Singapore and Japan. And 20,000 colleges and all our universities are already connected. Unfortunately, a lot of our people don't know how to use it. I'm sure it will take 2-3 years before people begin to understand the applications. Then we are building another network to connect 250,000 local governments to optical fiber. First network is costing us about $2 billion, already done. Second network is going to cost us about $7 billion. It has been in the works for 3 years. In next 18 months, it will be all built. And this will connect all our local governments to hundreds of megabits of bandwidth. Then we are creating platforms. One of my colleagues, Dandan Nilakani, is creating platform for ID. So we identify every resident. Another colleague is creating platform for GIS. So we can tag every physical asset. Then we have series of programs on applications like food distribution, passport, driver's license, income tax, and 30 other applications. Sum total, we have today about 10,000 software people in the government. 3,500 on government payroll, 6,500 from private sector, working on developing these applications. Direct fund transfer that Jamshed talked about is another activity. The key is to build these infrastructures hopefully to really create transparency, accountability, and new ways of doing it. And there is a lot of concerns. People don't want to change. Today, in spite of all these tools, all our governments works on manual files. And we are trying to computerize files. They just don't want to do it. Because manual files you can manipulate. You can do it in serial, and digital file is parallel transmission, total visibility. So we launched a program along with US government when Obama visited India. We had half an hour together on this. And we launched a joint program for open government platform. We built it, and none of our government departments would open data. Took 9 months to convince everybody. Prime Minister's office, Cabinet Secretary, everyone. Finally, we have roughly 3,700 data sets. We need 10,000 data sets now. So there's a big problem with old guards. They just don't want to change, and that's the fight going on according to me. It's not visible on the surface, but we are saying, look, there are new tools, you got to be more transparent, and government has taken some major steps. Right to information. We have right to information, but we don't have information organized in a manner you can deliver. So as part of innovation, we said, not only we need to create this infrastructure, but we also need to sensitize people to think differently. So we have National Innovation Council, sectorial innovation councils, state level innovation councils. We have a $1 billion fund to fund innovations for the bottom of the economic pyramid, because there we need to think of affordability, scalability, sustainability. I've been saying this for the last 25 years, that best brains in the world are solving problems of the rich, who really don't have problems to solve. And as a result, problems of the poor really don't get the kind of talent we need. And that's our challenge. We are going into clusters to seed innovations. These are huge clusters. For example, bamboo cluster with 400,000 people working. Brassware cluster, 500,000 people working there. How do you seed innovations there to really increase their income is the challenge. So innovation is not about software and satellite and computers and biotech and nanotech. It's really about solving problems using local talent, local consideration. And we have to focus on affordability, scalability. If it is not affordable, don't waste your time. And that's our main challenge today. So everywhere we look around, we find that the Western model of development really doesn't quite work for us well. It may work for big industries because they are competing in the international market and they have things to export and all that. But when you begin to solve the problems of the poor in the villages, we need different solutions. And that's a bigger challenge to me than anything else we know. All the Tatas and Godrej and others will sort out their problems. They are capable, they have more talent, they have more money, and you don't need to worry about that. But in the process, what happens to the bottom of the pyramid? And our main focus is there, and I think it will take a decade or two. It's not going to happen overnight. So there are lots of opportunities in India on basic needs, new materials, new ways of doing things. But those opportunities may not look trivial in terms of what is available in the market today. The existing model based on consumption is not scalable, workable, desirable, sustainable in India. We need new models of development. And that itself is a challenge. You look at agriculture, There is very little logistics. We have a lot of food, but we have 200 million hungry. How do you justify that? You know, because we haven't really taken technology to solve that problem. And I can give you a list of about 20 areas like this, where we have technology, we have wherewithal, but we have just not had the political will to sort these things out. And that's the challenge. Thank you. Just one other thought. You know, Jamshed talked about railways, you know, North and South corridor and all. We put together a plan on modernization of railways which would require about $200 billion. And we believe if we modernize railways, we could add 1.5% to GDP. The plan could not find political support. There was no political will, and this is what happens in a coalition government. You know, you got to compromise, and when you compromise, you tend to slow things down. Similarly, I believe if we computerize all our court cases, and we have 32 million court cases pending, and reduce time to justice from 15 years to 3, we can add another probably 1% to GDP. These are big areas. We know how to do it, but there isn't enough political will to get it done.